You've been doing the work that you do for a really long time, and you have built the reputation. You have proven your methodology time and time again. And you know that you're ready for that next level. You're ready to speak on the bigger stages. You're ready to secure the corporate clients, to build the company wide programs you know you can do without a doubt. However, when they ask you for your website or they ask you for the proposal or your speaker one sheet, you kind of freeze because you're like, oh, crap, I haven't updated that yet. It's still speaking to my one on one clients. And if you're feeling like that, I totally get it. I'm Chelsea, I'm a brand strategist, and I help women founders through this transition quite frequently. And that is something that I see that the brand refresh in the actual restructure of behind the scenes is a lot of times one of the last things to like, oh yeah, I really have to get to that. And I think what happens is it's because it feels like a complete overhaul. It is overwhelming, quite honestly. And so, what I wanted to do today is to explain and give you the roadmap of what the top things that you need in order to make this transition a lot smoother from a brand perspective and a marketing perspective. So before I dive into that, I want to back up a little bit and I want to talk about why this is so different. Like what makes this such a big drastic change? Because a lot of times I think people think of like, oh, that's just the natural progression. It is. However, these are two very different audiences. So you're going from a business to a consumer to a business to business. And I can geek out all day long. I'm not going to, but they are very, very different. The way you speak to them, where they are, where they hang out is completely different. How you their buying process is very different. Like there is a lot of things that you have to think about when you are talking from a one-on-one perspective and a corporate client perspective. So the difference is number one is that the corporate client is no longer looking at how can you solve my direct problem. It's kind of a multi-layer problem, and I see coaches and speakers kind of trip up on this a lot, is that you go from, okay, this, like, I can help them solve debt, I can help them do X, Y, or Z. But from a corporate perspective, is you're helping their client or their employee or their member or whoever their client is, you're helping them achieve something, but also you're helping the organizational level make a greater impact. So there's kind of like a multi-fold. And so you no longer have this direct problem solution, you have like a multi-step problem solution. And I think a lot of times people get a little bit confused when it comes to that. The other difference is that you before you were talking to a person, like your one-to-one client, and they were able to make that decision right there and then. However, with a corporate client is you're not necessarily going to be talking to the CEO or the C-suite. You're going to be talking to the VP level or the manager level, the people who are going to get all the information, do the research, then they're going to turn around and they're going to pitch it to their leadership team and say, hey, this person is the right fit for our program or our project. So that is like another layer you have to consider. Okay, so that's kind of generally speaking, like I'm watering it down quite a bit of the differences between the B2C and the B2B. But from a branding perspective and a marketing perspective, here's the top things that, like the checklist that I would say that you would need to make this transition easier. Number one, first and foremost, is your website. A lot of people forget about this part because, again, it feels like a big overhaul, and it kind of is. But investing in that time to update your website, to reposition yourself as a corporate fill in the blank, is going to be essential, because these corporate leaders, they are like a lot of times doing the research before they even reach out to you. So if they go to your website and It's saying, hey, I'm a coach or a speaker who speaks to one-on-one people, like to a consumer. They're going to say, oh, well, she doesn't do what we're looking for. And then they're going to move on and find someone else. And so when you reposition yourself, you're going to be talking about that multi-layer of, hey, this is how we help the business. Here's the impact. Here's the data. Here's all the things that you need in order to get to know me on a corporate level. Okay, so redoing your website is essential. The next thing that you're going to want to do is updating your speaker reel, updating your speaker one sheet, updating your case studies. Those are really big. The testimonials are great and they do hold some weight, but having a case study is going to be meatier. It's going to be of more value because it's going to break down the impact. It's going to break down the impact on their client side and an impact on the business side, and it's going to show it a bigger, better picture. So rebranding your speaker one sheet, your speaker reel, and your case studies is essential because that's going to be the assets that you give to them in order to turn around and pitch it to their leadership team. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to refresh everything everywhere. Your social like bios, your content itself. When you're creating content, you're no longer creating content. Well, if you do still do one-on-one clients, yes, keep that kind of a mixture. But if you're doing a complete pivot, then do a complete pivot. If you're doing both, then it's okay. It just gets a little bit more complex on focusing on where they're like meeting them where they are. So like your one-on-one clients are going to be more likely to be on Facebook, to be on Instagram, to be on TikTok, like that kind of thing. But your corporate clients are going to be more likely to be on LinkedIn. They're going to be in their emails a lot more frequently than the one-on-one client. So keep that in mind when you are refreshing everything. Is meet them where they are, and then also updating your content and your profile, like bios and all the things, refreshing it so people can see, hey, she is making this transition and this is what she's doing, so it doesn't get a little muddied and confusing. Okay. The third thing, or the next thing, I'm not sure what number I'm on, but the next thing is really lean into podcasts and different shows and different spaces where these leaders are hanging out. So specifically podcast, don't like really curate, like really take the time and curate your list of where they're getting their information and applying to be on the podcast. It is great advertising and marketing for you because number one, a lot of times it's free. And number two is that it is a marketing piece that keeps giving. Let's say that is that the podcast episode lives there or the YouTube video lives there. So it just keeps on growing over time. So I definitely highly recommend looking in those spaces. Another thing that you really want to do is build up your reputation on a corporate level. So work on getting your media features, work on blog like guest writing on different publications, work on being cited in different magazines or articles or online publications. Like work on building that side because it's going to help build your reputation on the corporate side. Yes, you've built your reputation on the one-on-one side, but corporate is a little bit different because you want to have that credibility and that reputation on that level. So going back through and really getting your PR up on that side of it. The last thing that I would say, and this is probably the biggest one, is rethink your lead generators. Yes, I know you're going to have to do this again, and that's okay because it's going to be so worth it when you bring in new leads. But think about it from a corporate level of they're not looking for that direct problem solution anymore. They're looking for that impact. So creating a lead generator that's going to help them make that bigger impact. So really thinking about the lead generator of, okay, how can I serve them and serve them well? enough for them to download this and get on the email list. Because remember, they're living in their email, and you want to have that. You want to be able to have that access into their email, because you're going to make a greater impact once you get behind that email side of it. Like, you're building that trust. And if they download that, that's telling you a lot that you're one step closer to working with them. So, all in all, making this transition, it does take time to refresh and rebrand and do all of these things. But if you take the time to invest early on, it's going to help you move so much like faster ahead versus having to go backwards to go forward. So if you're in this transition right now and you want someone to help strategize and make this transition smoother, feel free to book a call with me. You can find the link in my description, and I'm here to help you because you have amazing talents. Don't let the small technical difficulties slow you down from achieving your goals. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week.